Today is Saturday, November 5th, 2022. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is the listener feedback show for Survivor 43, Week 7.
And that's going to be about the extent of your talking. No, you might be able to manage some more.
Seems like it.
Yeah. But we did our test and you said
I did
that
pretty
was good.
But then,
Lost
we did
some
the real
gas there.
thing and
All right. Well, that helps us know where we are.
one and done.
Yeah.
Okay.
So definitely not completely recovered. The infection went from the left side to the right side.
Yeah,
And-
both ears affected.
Yeah. And so
And my sinuses are not so good either. But
and not getting enough rest and all that. So
yeah. Well, the good news is that I do feel better.
Mhm.
I don't feel good, but I'm not in the pain I was in.
yeah.
I was in a lot of pain.
She's not hollering.
No, I'm not moaning and groaning and carrying on.
Yeah.
I'm very verbal, aren't I, baby?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he has to
Yep.
listen to me.
No,
He hears
no,
me
it's okay. I understand.
groan and carry on. I've always
There is-
been that way.
There is some element of drama infused.
And my poor mother, as a child, I remember saying, "Mama, come here." And she'd say, "What is that, honey?" And I'd say, "I don't feel good, Mama."
Yeah.
I thought, oh, geez, I must have driven her nuts.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Something like that.
so much for that. I am better, and I'm very grateful.
So you're going to
for
be
that.
here, at least right now, you're here with us.
Yeah, no promises.
We
but,
got how many super fans?
19.
19. So some people enjoyed the episode sort of in total, and then others not so much. So we're going to get to hear a variety today, and we're going to get some different insights. People coming at things from different walks of life, different experiences.
As usual.
Yeah, that's what we look forward to in the listener feedback show. Is there anything else we need to cover before we kick it off, get going?
I don't think so.
First up, we got a call from Pete.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. This is Pete from Boston calling here. Man, guys, it's officially the merge. I'm shocked. I'll be honest. I'm a little disappointed in the outcome because I love Dwight. Nevertheless, guys, I loved it, so I'm going to let out a great big wow. So much happened, guys. I'm going back and forth, this and that. And what happens, guys, first of all, Gabler, of all people, lunatic, crazy Gabler wins immunity, the oldest person on the cast. But you know what, guys? I tip my hat, guys. He had a good story this episode, honoring some of his family. When he did to the dog or something, that was hilarious. And the veterans, he mentioned his uncle, and showing respect for Noelle. I thought that was real classy and great of him. Now, I still don't think he could win. He may still be a go, but I give him credit for killing it in the challenge and entertaining us with who he's playing every minute for. I thought that made great TV, and I know Probst and production loved that. So great job, Gabler, on your win. However, not so good of a job this time, because I looked at the votes, and it looks like you were on the wrong side of the vote, Gabler. Him, Janine, and I think, was it Noelle? I think that voted for Ryan, and then the other two, whoever it was with Dwight, voted for, maybe it was him and Owen, Dwight and Owen, or vice versa, voted for James, or I could be getting that mixed up. And everyone else, I don't know if you guys saw, including Sammy, voted to get rid of it, blindside Dwight. Wow. I didn't know what was going to happen, guys. I thought maybe something was going to be played. Janine, it turned out to be a mistake because she gave Dwight the idol. Now it's a dead duck now because he was voted out. I just read an interview with Probst there. He couldn't even sneak and give it back to her even after he was voted out because it's done. So I'm assuming now maybe some will be re-hidden or something. We'll see. So that hurts Janine, but I give her credit for trying to pull something out there. It just didn't work out. But sitting pretty, guys, again, Carla, looks like it's looking good for her. And Sammy, how on earth is he in good now with the Coco team all of a sudden? What aren't we seeing? I thought he was close with Owen and Gabler. He was sort of working it with Gabler a little too. So I don't know what to think of that now, guys. But I don't know. I'm thinking might happen. Stacy, see if you agree with this. Noelle is going to be out for vengeance because she was real close with Dwight, and she's going to come out for blood. I wouldn't be surprised if she joins forces with some of the Barker members, to get revenge on Cody and Jesse there. Or they may finally take out James, because now they all know about his advantage there. The thing where you could steal an idol there, whatever it's called. Is that the beware advantage? I get all these things mixed up. But man, guys, it was a solid episode. It's anyone's game, though. Great episode, though. And again, good job, Gabler, on the immunity win. Love it. Take care. Woo.
Whoa. Good job, Pete. Yeah, the knowledge is power is what you were thinking of. That's what James is holding right now and did not use. Yeah, I agree. Gabler setting that record. That's Survivor history.
That's why they should go after him next.
Go after Gabler?
Yeah, he's shown that he can win things.
Certainly upped his threat profile. No doubt about that.
Yep.
I just wonder how his social game's viewed, how it's perceived, or the lack of one, potentially. And I didn't get any big read on that from the Dwight interviews.
I just don't think he's probably trustworthy, that they just feel like they can't really trust him and they don't want to give him any information because they know he ratted out his whole tribe, basically.
Yeah.
When they merged. So why would anyone tell him anything?
If I'm on Coco and Vessi, I'm thinking, how can I use him as an agent of chaos? I just want to use him to vote out his alliance members, and then I'll discard him when I'm done with that, getting rid of the bigger social threats from that perspective.
Yep. So even though they definitely, if Nicole causes too much of a problem, I think
Noelle?
I said Nicole.
Yeah.
Noelle. They could target her, but I'm thinking that they could go after somebody in Baca because they still got a firm 4 people from that tribe, and could even be Sammy if they see that he's trying to rebel against them.
Yeah. They're definitely leveraging Sammy, the majority alliance, from that perspective, so it could backfire. The other thing that's going to come up as we go through some of the feedback is everybody's wondering, like Pete said, where did the Sammy aligning with them come from? And there is a point when you see fairly early on, is it when they get back, or was it even before the challenge? I think it's when they get back from the challenge. You see Sammy talking to Carla. And Carla tells Sammy, hey, if I hear your name, I'll let you know.
I'll let you know. I got your back.
Sammy's basically saying the same thing. So he had a connection right there.
But he's got a connection to Jesse, too.
Sammy has a connection to Jesse that we saw in the last episode? Or is this something?
I don't know. But they were talking and they were out in the water together. And so I don't remember if it was the last episode or not. But there has been a connection, I think, with Sammy and Jesse.
Okay. Yeah, that's not something I was remembering. But having that with Carla, and she could have been the one that pulled him in. Dwight said in his interviews that just before they went to tribal council, he saw Sammy talking with, I believe it was James and Ryan, and Dwight thought, uh-oh, something's not right. They're going to have more than 4 votes against me, and I think they just got a 5th if Sammy's there. And then he said he saw Sammy go talk to Carla after talking to James and Ryan.
Yep.
So, yeah, he realized he had lost Sammy from his count, and his idea was, hey, we can't split the vote. So he was trying to get to everyone before they headed out and say, don't split, put the votes on James.
Well,
but
he didn't know that Cody and
no, it wouldn't have made
Jesse,
a difference.
Yeah, it wouldn't have.
But he also wasn't able to get them to come around to that. And indeed, he did leave with Janine's idol. So that's gone. Good deal. Thanks, Pete. Next up, we got a call from Robert.
Hey, Joanne, Stacy, and Survivor fans. This is Robert from Canada calling in with my listener feedback. Before I get too deep into my feedback, I just wanted to say I was really sorry to hear that you weren't feeling well, Joanne, with your ear infection, and hopefully you're feeling better and we get to hear you on this feedback show. In honor of the Alligator's victory and his endless tributes to man and beast alike, I hereby dedicate the next minute of my feedback to you, Joanne. In all seriousness, I hope you're feeling better, and you did a great job on the recap, Stacy. Good job getting a vote-off point and getting back into the main pack of the Psy Challenge. I thought this episode was fantastic, and it had one of my favorite challenges in recent years. And the title of the episode, Bowling in China Shop, I think if there was a side bet on which Survivor that title was about, then we all would have been big winners. Although I've never been a big fan of Jeff's sort of concept of you got to earn it every step of the way, I really liked it in this challenge. It looked like it was really tough. The whole rope tunnel thing looked like it would be anxiety-inducing when you get stuck. And I was curious if the alligator would find an easy time just gator rolling his way through that, so it was interesting seeing that come to fruition. On the second part of the challenge, it was hilarious when Ryan was telling James, hey, keep going. And then after the challenge, Ryan was also giving James grief. I really think that Ryan's days are numbered in this game. It seems like he's focusing on making enemies despite trying to be useful at camp. In the final part of the challenge, it's cool seeing the true grit that each of the survivors showed. I really like when Survivor does this with some of these endurance challenges. And with the survivors starving, we haven't had a lot of good endurance challenges in recent years. And it was great seeing each of them kind of push through the pain and keep going as long as they could. Especially with Gabler, I think his strategy of taking it minute by minute and finding things to motivate himself was really smart. After the challenge, when he was talking to Jeff and he says, don't wake me, I couldn't tell if he was in a dreamlike state from winning an idol or whether he was talking to his tribe about his post-challenge nap that he's going to take. But anyway, I thought it was a really great episode, and I'm interested in seeing everyone else's thought about the episode and how they think things will play out next week, if they can sort of imagine some tribal lines that start to get drawn. This big alliance isn't going to be able to carry on forever. I don't think we're looking at a very specific, like, final 7, neat pack. There's obviously fractures, so I look forward to hearing what everyone else thinks about that, and just take care.
Thanks, Robert. Ryan is continuing to deliver on his plan. There's an extra clip where he goes out while everyone's washing off, and then the discovery of the bottle and the clue at the well, while that happens and people are strategizing out in the water, he goes out and right away finds a huge clam. You can actually see him walking back up the beach with it at one point, even in the episode. So he found a giant clam, and then he found another smaller one. He speared a fish, and I think he had some snails. He was talking about how good they were when they fixed them up. And then in that extra clip, they're all enjoying it, and they're talking about the flavors. So and they've got limes, and it is a ceviche kind of thing. It sounds like that they're describing. I think he even says that. So that's when that you have the acid from the lime.
It cooks
effectively cooks the fish. Does. Yeah, makes it safe to eat. I'll look at it that way. I don't understand how that cooks it, but anyway, from that perspective, and they were just really enjoying the flavor because it's such a different flavor. They had coconut and fish and the lime.
Those are all good flavors.
Yeah, so
with the lime
he actually is delivering on bringing food in, and that's one of the things that he wants to do.
It's probably one reason he's still there too.
Could be. It'll be interesting to see how they weigh that. With this shortened time frame, it just seems like that matters less and less. It's by design. They could get by with less.
And thank you, Robert.
Good deal. Next up, we got a call from Sandi.
Hi, guys. This is Sandi from Atlanta. I just have a couple things to say. One is the confusion on the advantages, idols, blah, blah, And I read the Jeff Probst article about Janine not being able to get her idol back once the votes have started going. But I'm sorry, can we somewhere put these rules out? I mean, my goodness, the instructions are on this teeny tiny piece of paper. I would think it would be on some legalese with a notary there, signing your life away that you understand everything, because I don't know it. What's up with James's voice? I know somebody else is going to say something about it, but has it been this way the whole time? Driving me crazy. I also did not like the way Ryan spoke to James after they did not win the challenge. And I just was like, dude, we're not all you. Don't like Jeff Probst doing what he did about get your teammates out. No, you get those people that I know are standing back there with the big hunk of scissors, and you cut me out of that thing. And then praise them for being so kind and generous? No. Okay, then the next thing is the time. I think the game has significantly changed because of the time shortened. What I mean is they're not starving. They are not getting on each other's nerves. They are not bored. I think there was something to that I am missing personally. To me, it just seems like, well, might as well give them a tent and a fishing pole and they just live and you just have challenges. There's something missing and I'm missing it. Maybe I'm not stating this correctly, but there's something missing and I don't like it. I did not see Dwight going out. No clue who's going next. So I can't wait to hear what everybody else has to say. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thanks, Sandy. Well, absolutely is different, huh? 39 days
One
Survivor.
of the Baca men, Sandy.
What's that?
One of the Baca men.
Is what? Who goes next? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. There you go, Sandy. Hot off the presses. Definitely the 39-day version of Survivor is dramatically different from the 26-day Survivor. Although I think they're probably still somewhat hungry. They're not getting all their food needs met by coconuts and whatever Ryan can scrounge up. And I believe,
not without the rice.
Yeah, we're going to see one of those classic bargaining for rice things here coming up. So
you can get a lot of actual energy from that to boost yourself for challenges, from the rice.
Sure, it's just the carbs. Yeah, they're struggling to get enough carbs for sure with how things are working. Next up, we got a call from Chris.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. Hey, Survivor fans. Hey, Stacy, you did a great job on the recap.
Thank
Joanne,
you.
I'm so sorry. I hope that you're feeling better. Ear infections are not fun. God bless you. Don't have a whole lot to say this week. I'm glad to see that crabs are back on the menu. I know it's cute when we see all those little baby crabs run to the ocean, but that's protein. I mean, what if Kenny Stabler had a son named Gabler? And that's about all I got. I did not get a vote-off point this week because I did not make Dwight choice. Bye, everybody.
Oh.
Thanks, Chris.
Oh, you know what? I would not want to sit by Chris in church because I'm afraid he'd make me laugh out loud. Thanks, buddy. Next up, we got an email from Rashmi in Perth, Australia. Dear Joanne and Stacy and all my Survivor friends, hope Joanne is feeling better. I'm sure Stacy's been looking after her and pampering her. Have I been pampering?
Thank you.
I got you chicken today.
Pampering. You did get me chicken today.
Today. Did you hear how she said today? So other days didn't quite measure up.
He's been putting all my eardrops in every 4 hours in both ears, and so not every time, but most of the time. So that's pampering enough.
Oh, okay. Okay, back to Rashmi. I really enjoyed this last episode, though some parts I found hard to watch. First of all, about the challenge, I think the mud pit with the tangled net was especially hard for Noelle and the ladies with long hair. And I think the guys, too. Well, even Dwight said his hair was getting caught in it, as I recall. Mm-hmm. I felt really bad for Noelle. I just couldn't watch after she had to remove her leg, and then the rest of the players came to help her out. I think in one of the Dwight interviews, he said that it actually came off. So Dwight left with Janine's idol in his pocket/shoe. I really do feel bad for her. I hope by some miracle she wins the season, and that would make me happy. This season's been pretty brutal for the women, in my opinion. As per Dwight's exit interview, there was hesitance to vote out a woman, so I doubt it's Janine. If Gabler is the target, I'll be really surprised. I had him as my vote out the last episode, but I was so wrong. I read somewhere that Sammy's flipping unless he's found out by Coco, so that leaves Noelle and Owen. Given the desire to prevent female losses, my bet is an Owen getting votes, but as James was trying to pit Owen and Dwight, I guess James could be next to go. The knowledge is power seems doomed to fail, and James has no story at all. I've been rewatching season 37 for obvious reasons, White Lotus. I just realized that I do miss the family reunions, and especially I miss the Ponderosa videos.
Yeah.
I'd wish they'd have it this year. Secondly, the reward challenges were also loads of fun. I do wish they gave the contestants some food at least. I'll be traveling next week, so we'll be able to watch the next episode of Survivor when we get back on Tuesday. Have a wonderful week, everyone. Thanks, Rashmi. I hope you have a great trip. Next up, we got a call from Jacqui in Wisconsin.
Great job with the summary episode, Stacy. I did miss the banter and discussion that Joanne brings, and I hope she's feeling better.
Thank you.
My thoughts on this episode, I definitely felt uncomfortable when they made such an emotional moment about Noelle and the mud net. To me, this is exactly what she wouldn't want highlighted in an episode.
Yeah,
the close-ups of the others pulling her leg from the net covered in mud was in poor taste. Instead, we should really have highlights of the amazing physical feats she's accomplished this season. Gabler. How can this guy set a record showing incredible strength when only days ago he was weak and laying around camp? Was he faking it early on to hide his strength? I also need to add that, again, I do not like him inferring that he is a heart surgeon, which he continues to do. He did a great job in the challenge and definitely surprised me. However, it was close to being a different outcome. If Carla hadn't slipped and fell in the suspended net portion, she and Cassidy may have beat Gabler and Owen to the mat. I'm not sure how close this actually was, but the editing gave me that impression. That would have kept Gabler from the final round. Dwight, my jab at USB from the beginning. I kept hoping he would turn it around and the editing would start highlighting him as a come-from-behind kind of story, but no. Speaking of Dwight, I hope he did keep Janine's idol on his way out. It wasn't highlighted as much this episode, but Janine is far too thin to be continuing in the game. It actually makes me uncomfortable seeing her arms, legs, and stomach. I think the editors are now trying to hide it and edit it out. There should really be some minimum BMI or weight limits for competing. I think Joanne said it in the Jabek episode that she noticed how thin Janine was from the start, and this was a concern for the season. Hopefully she lost her idol and she'll be voted out soon and she can get a proper meal. Two last thoughts. I say this every time I give feedback. I would really love to see some trivia or food challenges brought back to Survivor. Also, did everyone see Propes on Saturday Night Live last weekend? Thanks and have a great weekend, everyone.
No.
Thanks, Jacqui. Yeah, I'll have to go find whatever skit he was in. I'm sure it was about voting someone out as the punchline, but that'd be cool to see. Yeah, definitely Janine just keeps getting smaller and smaller. At least her chin's healing up. That was hard to watch week to week. It looked like it wasn't for a while there, but I guess that was because
she's done better than I thought she would with her minimal weight.
Yeah, minimal physical presence.
Well, it's like what you pointed out in the beginning is that it won't take much to sustain her.
Yeah, that's the flip side. She's not going out there with 150 pounds of muscle that she's got to constantly feed. But with the way this is shortened up, we saw how a real powerhouse last season could make it all the way to the end, even though he wasn't getting all the calories he needed. Thanks, Jacqui. Next up, we got a call from Rebecca.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. This is Rebecca calling from Northern California. I really like this episode. I'm really enjoying this season as a whole. I find that this cast is very easy to like. They're all very compassionate. They seem to really enjoy each other and like each other and be rooting for each other. And I enjoy watching that. I was really hoping my USB Cody would win the first individual immunity, but it was not to be. And, you know, Stacey, I agree with you that Jeff was kind of egging on the emotion during the challenge. I was actually a little annoyed watching it. I'm like, it is emotional. It is hard. You don't have to be like, guys, you guys all really like each other. Isn't this super crazy emotional? Let's all just revel in this moment for a minute. I just thought, let it be. Let it play out. You don't have to push the emotion. It was already there. Poor Noelle was caught in a web. She has to take her leg off, for God's sake. Also, when he was at the final stage of that challenge, when he was like, what are you guys thinking right now? How are you guys feeling right now? Like, what's on your mind right now? If it had been me in the challenge, I would have been like, shut up, Jeff. I am trying to hold up a bucket. My friends call me a lot when I'm biking, and often I'm biking up the hill, and they're like, what are you doing? And I'm, backing up the hill. So I didn't want Gabler to win the first immunity. I really wanted Cody to win. I was a little annoyed with all of Gabler's alligator, and he just seemed to be a little full of himself this episode, even though I fully supported him besting Ellie last week. I thought that was well done. I thought she kind of had it coming to her because she was kind of gunning for him, and, he got to her first, so well done. But I felt like he was a little braggadocious this episode until he won his immunity, and he had his little confessional, and he spoke of his love and compassion for people who have TBIs and PTSD. And that actually made me cry because my big brother, Sam, was actually a 9/11 first responder who had terrible PTSD, which led to a life-altering catastrophic car crash, which led to a TBI. And he is physically and intellectually disabled now. And it really touched me to hear somebody speak so eloquently about people who suffer from PTSD and traumatic brain injuries, because that is part of the landscape of my family and something we deal with emotionally for the last 9.5 years. I didn't see Dwight being voted off, even though Nina Bean so eloquently predicted it. I did not heed her prediction. My vote off was for Jeannie, which I thought since she didn't have a lot of agency, maybe she'd be voted off. But I've been very bad at picking the vote off this season. I have solid 4 points every episode, and maybe that will change around and I'll get a first non-jury pick. Who knows? But I'm having a very good time watching, a very good time listening to every podcast and being involved in the Facebook page. And I just thank you guys so much for what you do. I love the community, love the show, and I hope everybody is having a great weekend. Bye.
Thanks, Rebecca, and thanks for sharing about Sam and how that connected to this episode and the impact that had on you.
It's very difficult. I've dealt with both. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it is very difficult.
Yeah, your nephew has been really rough for him in terms of the TBI.
Yeah, well, not just that, the traumatic brain injury with Hewlin, and then both my brothers had PTSD. But so I'm familiar with that as well, so that's tough.
Moving on, we got a call from Drew.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. I do mean Joanne and Stacy, even though nice work ending the show by yourself this week, Stacy. Sorry, Joanne, you're not feeling so well. Hope back up and having soon. I myself, maybe you can tell my voice is a little bit off. I've had basically between 0 and 75, 85% voice for the last week or so, and I've been feeling fine, but just, I don't know, it's a long story that it's happened last year, and it's really annoying. I talk, I sing, I do these things every day, all day, and it's a real hindrance. So I'm going to get quickly to my feedback before I forget. I will tell you, I have kept up with the last couple of weeks. I've done okay in JSFL. I don't know, this week I will say the challenge, as the challenge goes, I thought was really good. As far as the histrionics, the Jeff show starring Jeff, I thought it was stupid. I thought it was overdrawn. Like, what do you expect, Jeff? Their friends are tied up in a net. I think they're just going to sit there and watch them continue to struggle to get out. Of course they're going to go help. It's not like a show of, the human drama of empathy. It's called the people who are, living together, who are helping each other. It was just so stupid. And don't get me started on last week with Carla's injury and the, you're on Survivor when you've got blood. That was just gross. He's just saying things for effect that don't make any sense, that have no context, that don't mean anything and as far as the game, even as far as the players sometimes. Stacey was talking about the Jaws thing, it's just desperate. It's let the people play, let the season play out. You don't need all of that. First of all, I've been saying for years he needs to shut up during the challenges. Like, it's just too much. Like, it's so annoying. If they're out there, I would say, Jeff, shut up. I'm concentrating. But I know it's part of the game. But anyway, I feel pretty good about my new USB of Jesse. Even if I don't see him like super winning, but I could see him in the Final Four, and I like him. So yeah, for that reason, I chose him. I feel like I would like watching how he goes, and as a person, I think I like him a lot. So I was going to talk about James's voice. So I did have Ryan to go, by the way, so it was looking pretty good for me for a minute. But as far as James's voice, I just feel like he needs to go like, and he just needs to clear his throat. I don't know how people can talk like that continually. I mean, if it were me, I'd be like, oh, excuse me, and like clear it out, because I can't talk like that because it would like drive me crazy. Sure, would bug people. So yeah, I don't know why maybe it's like an actual voice thing. And I think we all remember Mike Holloway had like a really weird voice situation. I think it was Mike Holloway, but I think that it sounded to me like that's just what he needed to do, because I've heard that effect in other people before, and they just clear their throat, and it's fine. So do just be aware and clear it out and continue talking. Thank you. Okay, everyone have a good weekend. I hope everyone had a happy Halloween. Hope everyone's staying well, and talk to you later. Bye.
Thanks, Drew.
Thanks, Drew.
It does sound like he needs to clear his throat.
He doesn't always sound that way. He gets worse at times. I don't know if it's because it's in the evening. It could be allergies. Maybe he talked too much trying to get, everybody on his side. And
work it out, yeah.
Who knows? But, yeah, it's painful. And what he was talking about with Jeff, I agree. There's enough drama. Let it play out naturally. When Jeff, it feels so contrived.
Unfortunately.
Like contrived drama. Thanks, Jeff. We don't need contrived drama. Just let it play out.
Let the reality be.
Yeah, we can see what's happening. Thank you.
Yeah. The thing with him, I've been thinking back a lot with Probst and these kinds of things. And do you remember years and years ago where they had him blog? Like when blogging was really popular, and they had him blog, and there was an update every week. And I remember reading that and feeling embarrassed for him, because I thought, here's a guy who's, he was in his 40s or his late 30s at that point, and I feel like I'm reading something that a teenager wrote. And so I think a lot of those things he just hasn't had the opportunity to work out.
Well, he's very talented in a lot of areas, but he's not talented in every area. And, that wasn't his forte.
Yes, he has written some books. I'm assuming that's him and not just a ghostwriter. Mm-hmm. But he's written some children's books, and I believe he's written one or two movie scripts.
Well, there you go. He's used to writing for
children,
for younger people.
And that maybe yeah, that it passes an easier bar, a lower bar, if that's the audience. But where I was going with that was, I think that probably gave him the sense that he's maybe a better storyteller than he really is. Mm-hmm. And so what we've seen after he's published this series of books is that he seems to be trying to inject more and more of that, or maybe it's just naturally flowing from the experience into his hosting component, and that's not where he's best, I guess. Is how I'll frame it.
It's like he wants to make sure we don't miss it. It's like, we're not missing it, we see it.
Right. Yeah. Yes. This is just a theme running through the feedback this week for sure, because that was such a blatant thing that he did with regards to the events for this episode. Okay, I hope you get better too, Drew.
It's like when you were trying to help me here the other day, and you said, "Did you hear what he said?" And I said, "Yes." And then you proceeded to tell me what he said. I said, "Why are you doing that? I just told you I heard it." Well, but you've been having trouble hearing. Thank you, but if I say yes, I heard it. Please don't repeat it.
Okay, there's a flip side to that, though, isn't there?
What's that? You were trying to be helpful.
Yes, and we were watching the game, the Tennessee-Georgia game.
Yeah.
Before we got started here.
Okay, I can't hear today. It's in both ears now.
and I had said Sanford Stadium, and then I don't know, 2 or 3 beats after that, he said, "You," because you popped out and looked at the guide, and you
Sanford,
said,
not Stanford.
"Yes." And I proceeded to say, "I did not say Stanford."
And I said, "Oh, okay." I acknowledge.
That's why I might check with you, just in case,
yes,
or repeat
but if
something.
I say yes, then.
Yeah, but you can end up in a dramatically different place.
I knew you were trying to be helpful, very much so, and I appreciate that. But I too get a little annoyed when I don't feel good. So a little,
little,
yeah.
Okay, thanks, Drew. Next up, we got a call from David.
What happens? Asked Janine. I have no idea, says Noelle. Is half the cast going to be collateral damage over one not-so-big move? Asked David in Pittsburgh. Okay, Joanne and Stacy, let's get right to the tribal council. I think it was Gabler's time to go, and if he hadn't won immunity, I think that he would have been voted out. But once he had that, he was safe, and then different people started to scramble. As Jesse said, if they make that move, it's Vesey no more, and it'll either be there'll be a legendary or a flameout. I don't think legendary is going to be the right word. For example, they were debating against one of their own, and it was between Dwight and Noelle. If it had been Noelle, I think that they would have probably knocked out a very tough competitor, and she could get the sympathy vote, because practically every time she's participating in a challenge and fighting to the end, I've got tears in my eyes. I would not want her sitting in the final 3. But Dwight, I don't get it. I didn't see him playing big moves throughout the entire season. I don't think he was that strong a competitor. They could have easily taken him out later. And again, why take out one of your own numbers? So they jumped ship, Cody and Jesse. Sammy jumped ship. So the only team really strong right now is Coco, with all 4 original members voting together. A couple of thoughts on the rest of the episode. I feel sorry for Janine. She was left out of the vote twice, and now she's also lost an idol. When she said to James, use her as an asset, again, why didn't they use her? She could be incorporated into their tribe. Also, Jeff, please stop asking the question, how confident are you? I don't care. Let them vote. As for our night's winner, Gabler, well, I have to say I was impressed with what he did, and I was touched by his tribute to the vets. But during the challenge, I thought, oh my God, if I were anyone competing against him, I would be thinking, shut up, Gabler. I mean, come on. He's now making a tribute to his dog, his fuzzy kid, and Alaska and Idaho. I do think that because he just won a challenge, and the fact that he's so unpredictable makes him a good target or a great goat. Last week, Ryan suggested an alliance of 7, and we all laughed. This week, we saw an alliance of 7, and they were successful. Let's see how well those numbers stay together. See you guys next week. Bye.
Good point. Not the same members, but you're right. The 7 prevailed.
Number 1, Gabler lasted that long because he had everyone's undivided attention.
You think that really powered him up?
I think that powered him up.
Yeah.
He was just on this high.
Yeah.
And it gave him strength because he was the center of attention.
That's a good observation.
And
I like that.
The other thing with Dwight is I remember Jesse and Cody talking and saying they were worried about Dwight down the road because he was so good at puzzles and things like that, and that they knew
that was Cody's
that
pitch.
was going to come back into play once they started doing the team stuff.
Yeah. The sequence that we saw was Carla and Jesse talking and saying, hey, we need to target Noelle because she's calling shots. She's a shot caller, and we need to take her out. And then Jesse takes that to Cody, and they talk, and they end up bouncing towards, well, we can weaken Noelle by taking out her tight alliance with Dwight, and that's how Dwight catches the target. And in Dwight's interviews, he talked about how not Jesse, but Cody had referred to Dwight as a strategist over and over again over in Vesey, and he couldn't get him off that theme. Cody was like a dog with a bone. Dwight's a strategist. And he couldn't shake him loose. He thought he had more time to deal with that, but obviously that didn't turn out to be the case.
But it's just like Cody wanting Justine out because she was a salesman.
Yes.
Like him.
Yes.
And he thinks he's a strategist, and he did not want to need
a threat.
That's right. He's a threat to me.
Yes.
Get him out. Now, I'm thinking that Miss Carla was just wanting to weaken Vesey, get the numbers down on Vesey.
She wins all around.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Doesn't matter who goes out of Vesey. Let's get somebody from Vesey, as long as it's not Coco.
And it gives her more options within that bigger alliance. Now she's building up a relationship with Jesse.
Yep.
They're talking about how comfortable they are talking and working together, those kinds of things. So she's got yet another path that she can choose. And likewise for him.
Everybody's telling Carla everything. And if you watch her in some of just when they're showing things, you see Carla drinking water, but she's looking all around her.
Taking it all in.
Observing everyone, everything. And I thought, nobody has a clue how well this woman's playing.
Yeah, Dwight also said in the interviews that Coco seemed to, at least from his perspective, seemed to have completely forgotten about the whole beads episode with Carla. And as far as people were concerned, they had no clue.
Nobody knows Carla has it.
That nobody had connected the dots at all. So she's just not seen as a threat.
She didn't give hers away because she's told no one that we know of. And I don't think she's told anybody.
She is the embodiment of knowledge is power.
Yep.
The other goofy advantage one that James is holding, not so much historically, at least.
Yeah.
It's going to be Carla's knowledge that ends up dictating how all that plays out. Good deal. Thanks, David. Next up, we got an email from Shahin in Australia. Hi, Joanne and Stacy. Hope that both of you and all the Survivor fans are well and that Joanne gets better soon.
Thank you.
Another excellent episode. Wow, production's hitting it out of the park at the moment. The challenges are great. The storytelling is top notch, and now the cast are really showing up post-merge. This kind of makes me peeved that they couldn't get the pre-merge right, and we have to wait 6 weeks for the true game to begin. Nevertheless, it was worth it this time around. I thoroughly enjoyed the 3-stage challenge, albeit as referenced in the pod by yourself, Stacy. Jeff can't help himself. Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. Last week, I gave him credit for steering clear of influence in the game thus far in 43, and then he did the alligator. Poked his head out and caused havoc. The older he gets, the more cringeworthy his actions become. Actually, it's been that way the whole time. It's like the old uncle you have to take back home because he tends to ruin the party after 9 p.m. That would really piss Probst off if he heard that comparison.
Yeah.
Good on Gabler. This gives him a second week of good edits, but I still don't expect him to make it past the top 5. His erratic behavior doesn't give others the confidence to build a game alliance with, and it might outlay his possible meat shield status. Regarding James, have a look at last week's episode, and you'll notice he's closing one eye for a small portion of the episode. He's really getting banged up over there. I think Janine and Noelle are in trouble, Janine in particular, as it's 2 weeks in a row that she's been left out of the main voting block and is losing any agency she had. Big upticks for James, Carla, and Cody. Loved Cody from day dot, but wasn't sure he had survived the pre-merge. But he's done super well and surprised me with his reading of the game, with help from Jesse, of course. Jesse is a dark horse for this game, however, I went Sammy for my USB, so it could go either way. Both are playing under the radar, and it's a good time for both, as they haven't ruffled any feathers yet. Thanks for all that you do, and thank you, Shahin. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see the fallout for Sammy. I would think there's going to be some, and I'm curious how he's going to play that off. Because I don't know any other way that you could read it than betraying his Baca alliance. So for Owen and Janine and Gabler.
he didn't keep Gabler in the loop.
This time, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was going to be one of those, well, there wasn't time. There just wasn't time. Thanks, Shahin. Next up, we got a call from Parker.
Hey, it's Parker from Indiana, and I hated this episode. Right afterwards, I sat there and I was like, okay, sure, that was random. But I just kept sitting with it, and now it's the next day, and I'm like, yeah, it was terrible. I'm actually angry about it. I guess I will say, I switched my USB. It's Jesse now. I feel better about that than Owen. Where I still like Owen, I don't see him winning. I know he's been getting stuff from the editors because they like him, but it doesn't make me feel, it doesn't make me think that he's going to win because of that. I still feel like he just hasn't done that much strategically to warrant a win, and I feel like Jesse has. I feel like he's subtly been behind everything. This vote, I have no idea. I know we talked about it for like a minute, but this is why I don't like this episode. I don't know why Dwight left. Maybe somebody could explain that to me. I'll listen to the feedback show, see if other people figured it out. But why did we spend so much time at the immunity challenge when, okay, I get, you have your iconic Christian versus Alec challenge, right? That's fun. That's cool. Christian talks a lot. Gabler kind of did the same thing. But see, here's the difference. We knew Alec was on the chopping block. We knew Alec was about to go home. So that's why that challenge carried so much weight. So why are we spending time on two people? We don't know where they stand. It's too early for this. This didn't need to be that long. I get the inspirational stuff or whatever. But it was so cheesy. Of course, they're going to help Noelle and Janine out of the trap you created in the mud, because that's why you didn't cast terrible humans. Duh. Why is that a big? Oh, let's all talk about this. Gosh. Anyway, and then we get back from the challenge. We spend even more time on Gabler, and then they decide, that advantage everybody hates. Let's just chuck it in the well. So James finds it. James gets it. Everybody tells everybody. And then they're like, let's blindside James, right? So I'm like, okay, sure. That came out of nowhere. But, let's roll with it. We're spending a lot of time with this. This must be what happens, right? This is a fun blindside to watch happen. Cool. Guess what? It's Dwight, which we spent 2 seconds on. Why? I'm sorry. It's more exciting to watch a blindside happen than to be blindsided. I can't be the only one who thinks that, right? You'd much rather watch the strategy unfold, the social dynamics, see who's working with who, really. I don't know that. And it's so frustrating. I could go on about that, but I can't. So that's all I got. I will see you guys next time. Hopefully it's better. Yeah.
You said something about Dwight talked about early on that he was after Cody and Jesse or something.
No, that Cody had targeted Dwight from very early on, calling him the strategist.
Oh,
and
okay.
And Dwight had tried to deal with it, but then he had just come to the conclusion that he's going to have to get rid of Cody. And he had tried to do that a little bit, I think, at one point, but
so enough they
he
don't
wasn't
trust
successful.
him or Noelle. So
yes, yeah.
They already felt like they didn't have a foursome with them.
Yep. Real quickly, I'm gonna recap for what they did give us and how we can sort of connect the dots. I totally agree, Parker. It's when you have things go like this, and there's so many that are in the same place Parker is, they're confused and going, wait a second, where did the Dwight vote come from? So step one, we see Carla and Sammy talking. So there's a potential alliance there that we hadn't anticipated. And that's going to become important at the end. So we just mentioned it in the beginning, but that's if you go back and watch the episode, you can see some of these things. And then we see Jesse and Carla talking and saying Noelle is a shot caller. She's a threat. We need to get rid of her. Jesse takes this to his alliance partner, Cody, and Cody's response is, how about we take out Dwight? He's the strategist. I'm more concerned about him than Noelle right now. Definitely we need to do Noelle, but what if we weaken her and take out Dwight? And so this has been an axe Cody's been grinding for a while in terms of getting him out. So
well, I think they might have been trying to prove their alliance to Coco as well by agreeing to vote out one of their own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point.
No, we'll get one of our own just to show you we're serious.
We didn't get that, but that's an important thing to consider. And when you think about, well, how is Coco processing this at the time? I like that. That's a good question or a good observation that could say, well, Coco was taking a risk too, because they needed some of those extra votes to pull this off.
And Miss Carla was watching everyone, so she knew if there was something a little off in their relationships. Mm-hmm. She would have already picked that up.
So Jesse brings that back to Carla, and then Carla does her, hey, as long as it's not me, I'm fine with Dwight going. And yeah, this could work. And so you can see the Coco 4 aligning with that, and then Jesse and Cody are there with them. And oh, by the way, Sammy checks back in with her and finds out this is what's happening. Sammy goes, oh, okay, well, I see where the numbers are. I want to be part of this. I want this to be part of my legacy. I want to be known as making the right vote and being part of the group that calls the shots.
And if you got my back, I got yours.
Yeah, so we kind of close the circle there. Those elements are there in the episode, but that stuff that happens post-challenge before Tribal, those jump cuts make all these kinds of things so hard to follow, and I admittedly completely forgot about Sammy and Carla, I think, having that conversation until I was rewatching it again with you last night when we went back and watched that section. I can't remember if I covered that in the recap or not. I don't think I did. I think it just blew by me. Anyway, there you go. There's your dots. There's some connection as to how that was there. What would have been really interesting is if they had shown Sammy going back and talking to Carla, or Sammy coming from talking with James and Ryan and going and having a quick conversation with Carla beforehand, like having Dwight see that, because he told in the interviews that was one of the things that he observed. Because then we would have been like, uh-oh, wait a minute, what's going on? There's a whole nother angle going that we weren't aware of. But they held it as a big blindside for the audience, like Parker was talking about. Sometimes that's fun as a viewer, but it also is a little bit of a red flag whereby you think, okay, they're manipulating what we're seeing and how things.
They always do.
Yeah, but in terms of, you don't want to get to the end and have no clue. Like, people had so much trouble with Erica winning.
Yeah.
Because there just wasn't enough groundwork. You didn't see how good her social game was. And then there's a reveal at the end. Oh, by the way, this person had a great social game. And this has happened especially with female winners.
Parvati. You never got over that Parvati won instead of Amanda.
Yeah.
Because it was a surprise. It
was definitely a surprise. And they did the thing where Sheree didn't have that opportunity to sit there with them, too. They went to a final two. Mm-hmm. But you learn there was a lot more that Parvati was doing and going on, and she was finding advantages and not using them, and
that we weren't shown.
Yeah. But it makes for an unsatisfactory ending, I guess, is the point I was driving towards there. So okay, we'll move on from there.
So we understand where Parker's coming.
Absolutely. Next up, we got a call from Kim.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy and Survivor fans. This is Kim from North Carolina. I got so claustrophobic feeling when those two ladies were stuck in that twisted rope. I'm kind of impressed that they didn't have a panic reaction, and I felt really bad for both of them. I also thought that there was no way that Noelle was going to be able to compete in that challenge once she got to the top and was trying to do the rope crossing with the three boards with that blade leg on. I just don't see how she would have had a chance to complete that at all. Well, whatever you think about Gabler, he sure knows how to say things to end up on TV. Mm-hmm. Some of his dedications that we heard were very sweet, and especially 100% agree about veterans. But man, if I had to listen to him while I was aching in my hands and my arms, I would drop my bucket, get me a machete, and either cut down his bucket or cut down everybody else's bucket so I could get him to be quiet. I missed the whole thing at Tribal Council about Janine's bracelet, so I'll be interested to see what happens with that. Carla is looking like a mastermind to me. She's keeping her secrets. She's really being strategic. I think she looks tough to beat. I probably would have chosen Jesse as my USB if I had played JSFL, and I think I would have stuck with him. He's looking good too, but man, this 7-person alliance, who knows what's going to happen with that. Anyway, enjoyed the episode. Enjoy hearing all the feedback. Take care, everybody. Talk to you next week.
Thanks, Kim. And I enjoyed your story about my vocal doppelganger. And no, I don't recall being on any customer calls where that would have matched up with the work your husband does. So that wasn't me. So there's someone who sounds like me out there.
His real name is indeed Stacy.
Mm-hmm. As far as you know.
Yeah, I think I know. I've seen your birth certificate.
Next up, we got a call from Noelle.
Hey everyone, it's Noelle calling from Albuquerque. What an episode. I am sorry for my recent negativity. I try really hard not to put negativity out there, but I think I'm just really not enjoying this season, and I think it just basically comes down to the boot order. None of the vote outs make any sense. People voting out their allies, and I just think most of these players really suck at Survivor. I think Carla and Jesse particularly are super overrated, just like I thought Ellie was super overrated after the first episode. So when it came to picking my new USB, I didn't pick Dwight, luckily. I picked Noelle. And the reason is because out of everybody left, there's only a handful of people I could see winning. And I really wanted to pick Cassidy because Cassidy is the person who I feel like is kind of in the Erica position and the Marianne position right now. But then I thought, how stupid of me would it be to assume that season 43 is going to follow the same playbook as the seasons before? That never happens. And I also thought it would be more fun to have Noelle as a USB because we share a name and she's just so fun to watch. She's so good at challenges. And, you know, like Gabler said, I agree. She's very inspiring. I also thought about choosing Cody. I think he's playing a great game, but he voted out his closest ally, and that's stupid gameplay in my opinion. So I didn't choose him for that reason. Can't see somebody winning after doing something like that. Gabler, I guess I could see him winning. His edit early on did not lead towards a winner. But, I mean, it's not like we haven't seen that before. I mean, Mike in, season 31, he got kind of a goofball edit early on. I could see James winning, but I just think he's such an obvious target that I can't see him making it to the end. I think he's just so clearly good at the game that people will take him out. Janine lost her closest ally in the last episode. I didn't really know what was going to happen with her, so I didn't feel good about picking her. Jesse and Carla have both turned on allies very early in the game. I think that is bad gameplay, so I'm not interested in either one of them. Owen, I think, is too grumpy. Ryan is too isolated. And Sammy, same comments as Janine, lost his alliance, and I wasn't sure what was going to happen with him, and so I didn't feel comfortable picking him. But I guess it'll be interesting to see what happens. I mean, so far, I've just been feeling disappointed and frustrated after every single episode. So, I mean, we'll have to see how it ends up. But so far, really down on this season. I have to tell you guys, it was my birthday yesterday, so my daughter watched the episode with me, and when James pulled the bottle out of the well, she goes, "We've been trying to reach you about your extended car warranty." That was a great joke, I thought, so I'm sharing it with you guys. I know I'm forgetting something. I always do. Oh, well, have a great weekend, everybody. Bye.
Thanks, Noelle.
And happy belated birthday.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I know what's got Noelle so down.
Okay.
Because she's been very clear about her desires and what she looks for in a winner in the past seasons. And when 5 of the first 7 people voted out were women, I think they completely lost Noelle. So this was not going to be a good season as far as she's concerned from that perspective. She is full on Team XX. So that's my diagnosis.
Alrighty then.
I hope.
I know that's very important to her.
To her, yes. Especially coming from a guy. So, yeah,
exactly.
She'll really enjoy this, I'm sure. And there we go. Next up, we got a call from Jody.
Hey, Joanne and Stacey. Hey, Survivor family. It's Jody in Brisbane. I'm sorry to hear you're not feeling well, Joanne. Hope you're back to fighting fit already, if not very soon. And yeah, back to giving Stacey all that sass that he needs to take. I thought for sure we were headed toward losing another lady this week. It's just really bothered me. Okay, we're up to 7 now, but like 5 of those are women, and I'm not super impressed by most of the men. I've actually been struggling a bit this season to stay kind of invested. But anyway, the first part of this immunity challenge bothered me. So make your way through a twisted rope net thing, dipped in mud, and when the girls were like crying out that their hair was stuck and they just eventually stopped trying and lay there till it's over, I felt sick. I wasn't claustrophobic before this, but I think I am a little bit now, even afraid of nets. What a freaking dumb idea. Did the dream team go through this thing as well? Were there ladies as part of the dream team with longish hair? That's just one of the worst things, is having long hair and it being ripped out. And come to think of it, did the dream team have an amputee member who's also testing out the particular challenges that Noelle will face? And I know she'd be all, oh, you don't mean to be making special considerations for me, but come on, a little bit of equity might be nice. It just seemed impossible for her to get through that thing. And then, like, Stacey was complaining about Jeff manipulating the game this week, and I felt it, making the players come over to release their entwined buddies and then gush over it, just such a manufactured moment. And then at Tribal 2, insisting how the players should phrase the metaphors for the game. I wonder if they all had a go at Jeff's assignment and Carla was just the one who aced it.
Probably.
Well, and then they go, that big mob of fellas go to the water well, and oh, there it is. There's a little clue in there, in a bottle, floating right on top, and you can't miss it. And nobody goes to the water well alone, so whoever finds this stupid thing is going to be out in the open. What a danger. Poor. So I hate how there was still no merge to the end of the episode. Stupid. No jury for Dwight. Stupid. Anyway, I'm hanging in there. I enjoy the podcast more than the game at the minute. Yeah, get better, Joanne. All right, bye.
Thanks, Jody.
Dwight did say that they were cognizant of all the different, when the different women and the preponderance of women that had been voted out. But he said there was a story that went along with each one that made sense. It wasn't just about voting out women from that perspective, but it sounded like,
so they're saying now.
It sounded like it had, the consideration of that was rising. And that may be a factor going forward.
Didn't you said he said they were not wanting to vote out the existing women right then? Some of them, because of that.
Well, it's a factor. I'm not clear that it was playing a huge role in this vote out, but maybe it was. Maybe that's why it was also easier to pass on Noelle this time and to even up the genders being voted out a little bit. I don't think he was 100% clear on that, but he did say that awareness was rising. And he also mentioned in the interviews that he got back to camp before James did. So he could have grabbed the knowledge as power advantage. And
chose not to.
He chose not to because he just didn't want to have to deal with that. He didn't want everything that comes along with you having it coming down on him. He thought they would drop the hammer on him for that. And he even saw James after being in camp, realizing he was the only one there, and told James, hey, you could go right now. Nobody's there. You could grab it. And
then he proceeded to go tell everyone.
He said he went directly to go tell the other folks that James
that's why he really
had an advantage.
Get it. Then it's putting a target on James.
Yeah.
Well,
he made that decision, yes. Well, yeah, it backfired on him for sure. Thanks, Jody. Great to hear from you. Next up, we got an email from Josh the Plush Moose from Massachusetts. Dear Joanne and Stacy, it was another good episode, even though I hated the outcome. Poor Janine. I blame James. My other observations, I was sad when Gabler won. I had wanted to say, See you later, Alligabler, after tribal. Well, okay, we'll be looking for that. First, Janine lost Ellie, then she lost her idol. More lemons for her to make into lemonade. Ryan's crab stomping serves two purposes. It provides for the tribe, and it relieves stress. Gabler is a bull in a china shop. I didn't know they could cause damage while sleeping. I should have read that as a question. Okay, let me try that again. Gabler is a bull in a china shop. I didn't know they could cause damage while sleeping. There we go. Bacchus Crack is more like the Mariana Trench than the Grand Canyon. Alligabler wants to sink down. I think he's confusing underwater with under the radar. The producers probably face-palmed when the tribe defused the pecking order bomb with a rock draw. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good point. Animals caught in snares will chew off a leg to escape. Noelle just popped hers off. All right. You went dark.
You said Dwight said that she took it off, right? Or
no, that it came off.
Oh, that it came off.
Not that she had taken. I assumed she took it off.
She didn't take it off. It came off.
It probably got caught.
Rolling.
Yeah, and pulling.
Stuck in the net, probably. Yeah.
The tribe should use the twisted rope net tunnel to catch fish. Yeah. Holding a quarter of his body weight isn't on Sammy's bucket list. Carla's lucky there was a net when she fell. She might have smashed something else. Yeah, they were up pretty good distance, weren't they? Gabby Gabler went full Hubicki in the challenge. Do you know what people are talking about when they're saying Christian and now the Hubicki reference? Does that... Christian Hubicki, remember the professor that talked? Parker referenced it through that challenge he was in. It was an endurance challenge when he was facing off with Alec, the surfer guy, in that season. Was that 30? Was that 37?
I don't know.
David versus Goliath. You don't remember?
I don't remember the numbers, no.
And Professor Hubicki was talking, and they made it like he went on and on. But then people said, yeah, he really was talking endlessly during that challenge, trying to get into Alec's head. So, I mean, I'll wind that back. Gabby Gabler went full Hubicki in the challenge. Cody was lucky it didn't last 5.5 hours. Yes. They were going to smash pumpkins instead of tiles, but Billy Corgan wanted too much money. I like that reference. That's good. When Gabler made his dedications, I expected Casey Kasem to guest host for Jeff. Jeff mentioning that women had won the challenge was weird since only men remained. When Cody and Gabler exchanged one-handed salutes, I expected both buckets to drop. We've all heard about greedy one-percenters, but veterans are the selfless one-percenters. Amen to that. The muddy clouds in the water reminded me of the blue clouds in Adam Sandler's Grown Ups pool. Yeah. Between lying to the others at the well and his big smirk at Tribal, I really want James to go. Yeah, he was definitely gloating, it looked like, at Tribal. Sharing secrets is like the old shampoo commercial. They tell two friends, and so on, and so on. James found Gio's knowledge is power and promptly repeated Gio's Carla mistake. After the magic items shell game finished, I had trouble remembering who held what. Thankfully, Paul's got it all documented for us there. Well, at least the end result. I like how he wrote on the...
Question mark?
Yeah, put the, does she have the steal a vote? Does he have his immunity idol?
Can't they give it back?
Yeah. I don't think Carla's went anywhere.
Carla didn't give hers away.
Yeah.
So.
Didn't have to reveal anything.
Mm-hmm.
Jesse's Colosseum analogy is close, but instead of getting thrown to lions, they're thrown out by liars. James sounds like he's using a witness protection voice filter on 60 Minutes. Yeah, he does. Inspired by Paralympian sprinter Noelle, Janine practiced relay baton handoffs with Dwight at Tribal. Now, Dwight actually said that she wasn't trying to get the bracelet back at that point. She was trying to comfort him because he had been saying earlier in Tribal, it's me, because he realized things weren't going in his favor. He said he consciously opted not to go to a live Tribal, too. I guess it wouldn't have helped him in the end, but... That seems like a questionable choice. Jeff wouldn't like Jaws so much if a land shark had rung his doorbell on Halloween. For Janine, this episode played out like the Twilight Zone ones, where you try to avoid your fate and wind up causing it. Yeah. Next time, will a stable group finally take over, or will chaos continue to reign supreme? Anyway, that's it for me for now. Thanks, Joanne and Stacy, for all you do. I can't wait to hear what the other fans have to say. Stay safe, everybody. Thanks, Josh. Next up, we got a call from Jade-n-Christine.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. This is Jade.
And Christine.
From Hawaii.
Aloha.
First, we want to say we hope Joanne gets well soon. We're so sorry to hear about your ear infection and whatever else is going on. We hope that you're able to rest and get well soon.
Yeah, stay safe, everybody.
Yes. So we both changed our USBs.
Mm-hmm.
I changed to Jesse. And who did you change to?
Sammy.
How are you feeling about it?
Sammy. So I've liked the way that he's played the game so far. That's why I picked him. But after this week's play, I'm just a little worried because he might be on the bottom of that 7-person alliance. Although he seems to be in a good place, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Just not sure what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's so hard to tell.
Yeah, I like him though.
Yeah, he's been playing well. I feel like Jesse, I'm happy with him. I feel like this episode, the way that he just decided to let Cody have Dwight as the vote out instead of insisting on Noelle, like Stacey was saying in the recap, I thought that was pretty smart. And so feeling good about Jesse, but again, who knows?
Yeah, he's playing with some subtlety there. And
exactly.
Yeah, some smarts.
Yes. And how do you feel about the winner of immunity?
Okay, so Gabler, I am so mystified. I mean, the edit we've been getting is he's lazy, he has so low energy, he can't even get up, takes him 2 hours to get ready to fish, you know, and then all of a sudden we're supposed to believe that he's so inspired that he can break Survivor records and just hang out and just destroy everybody, right? Even Cody, who is, you know, just a beast in challenges, these physical challenges. So I was just really just kind of scratching my head over that one.
Yeah, it is kind of suspicious. I mean, he did eat at the merge feast, so that could be part of it, but I don't know if that would give him that much energy. I do feel like maybe he's been holding back.
Maybe he's doing that gator thing where you...
Oh, Gabler or whatever.
Yeah, like at the bottom of the pond.
Gabler.
Yeah.
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 Whatever. Yeah. I don't know. I wasn't happy that he won because he was my vote out point. And I don't know. I just find him a little annoying. But yeah, I was also kind of irritated that they cut the immunity challenge to... you know, to stop, and like Jeff has this emotional moment for the students, but they also put a commercial break in the middle.
That was so annoying.
It was so annoying. I was like, wait a minute, we're in the middle of a challenge. What's this commercial? It's nonsense.
I know. We're just cheap. We don't want to pay the extra to get the Paramount.
Yeah. We're gonna watch it with commercials. It's fine.
Yeah, well, we had a chance to get some cake and sit back down.
Yeah, that's true. So that was the positive side. We got some dessert.
Yeah.
During a commercial break.
Who do you think's in trouble for next time?
I don't know. Maybe James could still be in trouble because his name keeps coming up. Potentially Noelle, since she was Dwight's buddy. I don't know. Probably one of those I'll put.
Okay, I'm just going to copy you then.
Yeah. Let's see what Rashmi puts, and we'll just put what she puts.
There you go. All right.
Thanks, Joanne and Stacy. Joanne, we hope you feel better, and hopefully we'll hear from you next week.
Okay, love you guys.
Bye.
Excellent. Thanks, Jade-n-Christine. Next up, we got a call from Jeremiah.
Hello, Joanne and Stacy. Hello, everyone. This is Jeremiah here, and I'm going to dedicate this first minute to Joanne. Joanne, I hope you are feeling much better. But we had a really good episode this week. So much excitement, so many things to talk about. And the good news is, I think we, at least for now, have an idea of who is with who. But, of course, the big question is, will it stay that way? And I doubt it, but we'll see. You never know. So, like you said, Stacy, I was, of course, extremely impressed and surprised about Mike Gabler's performance at the challenge this week, which is a challenge that, by the way, I really did love. And it sounds like most people, from what I can tell on the internet, really enjoyed it. And so that was big for him. But the big thing, of course, was this decision by Cody and Jesse to go with Coco and apparently Sammy. Right now, I guess that's the biggest mystery for me. How did Sammy know who to vote for. That's something I really want to hopefully find out here coming up in the next episode. As far as whether or not Janine lost her idol, it sounds like Dwight did confirm on his exit interviews that yes, he had it in his pocket and left with it. Oosh, that's a big disaster for her. And from what I understand from his interviews that Jesse and Cody knew about this. So I wonder if that was part of the reason too for them to get, to go ahead and go with this idea to weaken Noelle and also get rid of Janine's idol all at the same time, which if that is the case and they were thinking that forward, that's pretty awesome. I did switch from Owen to Jesse. And what's funny is overall, I started to wonder if that's a mistake because, you really think about the last couple seasons since we've gotten this new era. And the editors have been messing with us. They've changed things up a lot as far as the way they edit the winner. And I think I was blinded by it because I was thinking, Carla, Jesse. And now I'm starting to think it's probably somebody we're not even really thinking about just yet, or someone who's going to emerge here soon that will probably be our winner. But I'll keep my eye on it. But I got Jesse. I'm rooting for him. I kind of hate to give up on Owen because I really love that kid. And he actually is, his edit lately hasn't been too bad neither, which makes me wonder if I made a huge mistake. And then, hey, the good news is, Stacey, you'll be able to make fun of me if Owen winds up winning this thing and I lose out on a chance for 24 points, which that'd be brutal. I think it's definitely happened to me before, so we'll see. All right, as far as next week's concerned, I'm just going to assume for now that this group stays together and they go after probably Noelle, it seems like. I think they really want her out. But I'm sure my mind will be changed once I hear everybody else's feedback. All right, well, that's it for me. You guys take care. And like I said, Joanne, I hope you feel much better. And until next time, this is Jeremiah from Southern California.
Thank you, Jeremiah. And he will be making fun of me as well if that happens, because I left Owen too, even though we did talk about, he got what he asked for right from the get-go of the season when he wanted his name up.
Highlighted, featured.
Yeah.
Yes. They
highlighted,
featured, and favored. That's how I would describe Owen, at least Owen's edit.
But I just couldn't see it, so... It is what it is.
Until it's not, we shall see.
That's right.
Next up, we got a call from Jen.
Hi, everyone. This is Jen in California. Well, actually, this is Jen in Indiana, just for this week. Hi, Parker. I'm actually here visiting family for a few days, and you have a beautiful state here, Parker. But on to my survivor feedback. What just happened? Typically, when I watch Survivor on the road, I don't pay as close attention as I do at home, but I thought I had a beat on who were the vote-off options, and Dwight was just not on my radar. I don't know if I missed something, but I watched Survivor really late last night, and I haven't listened to Joanna and Stacey's recap podcast yet, so that probably would have helped me out a little bit here, but I am baffled. I had Noelle on the chopping block. I had James on the chopping block. I had Ryan up for elimination, but Dwight came out of left field for me. And like I said, I probably was tired and missed something, but I can't wait to hear everybody's feedback to find out what I missed. That immunity challenge was such a great challenge. I liked the multiple steps and the multiple eliminations. I liked that each individual had to use multiple skill sets in order to move on to the end. And I loved watching Cody and Gabler fight it out. That was just amazing. And Owen, too. No love lost for Owen there. He held on as long as he could. But Cody and Gabler were beasts. This was their moment. Well, Cody's had other great moments and challenges, but this was Gabler's moment. He gave all he had to win that challenge. I know he kind of Christianed it out there by just talking and talking and talking, but I really liked the stories. I really liked his thoughtfulness. He's seen a lot of people in peril in his job and in his family who was very tied to the military. Those experiences have a profound effect on people, and the fact that he used that to draw strength from, I thought that was awesome. And I know we speculated about Gabler's occupation before and kind of questioned what it was all about. And I've had thoughts about it, but I hadn't mentioned it before. I believe what he does is he's the heart valve specialist. He is the person who knows how the heart valve works, and when it is placed into the body of a person during surgery, there is always a representative from the heart valve manufacturer present to make sure that everything is working correctly. And when things go wrong, I can imagine that Gabler feels that weight sit very heavily on his shoulders. Every surgery he sits in on is a life and death situation for someone. And I just thought it was really neat to see how his family's military background and his line of work has really shaped who he is. And he got a chance to show just really what a caring person he is in this game where our best traits aren't often highlighted, but rather our worst traits. On a final note, I loved all of the advantage shuffling that went on. I do have no clue where anything is anymore or what's going to happen next. I just can't wait for next week. Can't wait to hear what everyone else has to say. Till next week. Bye.
Thanks, Jen.
You know, I felt bad for Owen, too, because that was another childhood dream crushed.
Oh, winning? Yeah, because when Probst was questioning them about what they were thinking, that's what he was hoping for. Well, yeah, I think a lot of the people who go on have that same hope.
Yeah, of course.
And there's more individual immunity
They
challenges.
say it out loud when they do win.
There's more individual immunity challenges to come. Thanks, Jen. Next up, we got a call from Paul.
Hey, Paul, Louisiana here, and I want to start things off by dedicating this next 3 minutes to Joanne, who I understand isn't feeling well. Hopefully she's at the top of her game soon, and I am serious about that.
Thank you, Paul.
Well, there's Janine. She was trying so hard to distance herself from Ellie by, well, let's face it, by lying about how close they were. The fact is that they were most certainly together. She did luck out, though, when Ellie got all the flack for going through Gabler's bag, but we all know that it was actually Janine who did the deed. But then again, Ellie was a big part of it, and Owen was there as well, but he was more or less an unwilling accomplice. At any rate, poor Janine lost Ellie, and now she's lost her idol. Talk about taking one on the chin, huh? And the whole knowledge is power deal. I mean, is the paper that comes along with this thing confusing or something? Maybe a survivor needs to explain better to the players that you absolutely need to keep that advantage a secret, or it becomes a weapon to be used against you. It just amazes me how many people don't understand how this thing works. And James, well, he completely lost me as a possible supporter in this episode when he announced to everyone at the water well that there was a bottle in there. Game over, man. Game over. Now, currently I feel that Noelle and Janine are pretty low on the list of people who need to go. That sort of makes them floaters who can become more important as our two main alliances face off against each other. If these two are smart and they can ride out the storm brewing around them, they can position themselves pretty nicely in this game. But Gabler, holy crow, I can't be the only one who did not see that one coming. Did all of those power naps pay off or what? And poor Corey, I honestly thought he had that challenge in the bag when it was down to just Gobbler and himself, but I guess in the end his ears couldn't take it anymore. Leave it to the Alley Babbler to make a painful challenge even more painful, huh? And I hate to be like this, but hopefully this is his last hurrah and he'll be exiting the game soon. Hey, he's earned a target on his back now that he's won an individual's challenge, right? So, who's next to go? Well, I'll be honest with you, I'm still confused, but I'm leaning towards James because there are still two other idols out there that fear his power. Now, I am far from firm on this pick, so please feel free to point me in another direction. Any advice at this point is welcomed. And I guess that's it for me. Everyone take care. Bye.
Thanks, Paul. I like that Alligabler to Alababbler.
I don't think Janine is going to even be in the picture for being eliminated. She's no threat anymore.
Right. She's going to get to disappear into the background the way Cassidy has done right now.
She's got no alliance. She's been out of the loop completely.
Yeah.
And so
she effectively has no agency in the game.
None. And so she's no longer a threat. She can't win challenges, at least the ones they've been having.
Right.
And so
not only can she not win, she can't even finish a stage. So that's how overwhelmed she is in the challenges.
For that one challenge. Yeah. She's done really well in challenges.
But that's perception.
That's perception. That's how they perceive her. So she's not a threat. They're not even going to bother to look at her unless she comes up with something that someone does feel threatened. So
that was a good reminder from Paul, too, about Cody acknowledging the threat. James had shared with him, I have knowledge is power.
And James knows what he has.
Yes. Cody said James knows I have an immunity bracelet. So,
however, he could also steal Noelle's still a vote.
Yeah. Yeah, that would probably be more insult to injury if they get to tribal and he's able to snag that real quick before she can act on anything.
It would come in handy if they see Sammy talking with the other people and thinking that he's moving away from them and may pull somebody. If they steal that, then they can turn the numbers for this next crucial vote. And so...
Sorry, recap that. You're saying if Sammy flips back or flops back?
If they think he's flipping and they see him going around talking to the other people...
He would be back with Owen and Noelle and Gabler and Janine.
If they think that, yes. And that they might pull somebody else over like Cassidy. Or if they want to assure... then he can steal a vote and steal one of their votes. Mm-hmm. Maybe even Sammy's. But they could definitely steal one of the others so that they couldn't get the numbers more than likely.
Yeah, that's a good observation. Boy, you're doing great. For someone who's not feeling good, you nailed the...
So I can't hear the outside world very well, so I'm all in my head.
You nailed the Gabler, where did that come from mystery. Getting to be center of attention powered him up. He was able to level up and win the immunity challenge because he had everybody's attention.
Though I did like all that he shared afterwards.
Yeah. But I like that observation. And now you've got, hey... maybe someone will use the knowledge as power effectively by taking Noelle's steal a vote.
And that way he doesn't upset anybody in his alliance. He uses it, so he gets to use it, play it effectively. And he steals something that could benefit his alliance or even himself at some point.
Assuming that, who is it that has it? Owen that's who she gave it to, right? To hold?
Yeah.
So that he couldn't do that?
Yeah. Well, if she may not continue to do that after what happened with Justine.
Janine.
I don't know.
That's okay. That's all right.
Okay. It comes and it goes, I guess.
Yeah.
So, okay.
So the big question is the majority alliance going to flip next time on Survivors, trying to say that Cassidy may be making a move to work with Baca and Noelle?
I think that's
the story they were trying to tell.
Sell.
This could potentially happen, yeah. So you would have Cassidy, Gabler, Janine, Noelle, and Sammy, right?
And Owen.
I skipped Owen for some reason. And if they're able to steal a vote, that could give them 8.
Yeah, they would.
If the steal a vote doesn't get stolen by the knowledge is power, then...
Well, even if Cassidy didn't go with them and there was just Gabler, Janine, Noelle, Owen, and Sammy, that's 5. All they need is one more.
Well, the steal a vote gives them that.
And the steal a vote gives them that.
Yeah.
So they could make that work.
Even without Cassidy.
Yes. But I don't know about Gabler. And
if they can hide the steal a vote and keep it from being captured by knowledge is power.
Exactly. But, I mean...
That would be pretty exciting, wouldn't it?
It would be, I think, just such a great move for them to plan to do that and then James take it.
Oh, the counter shot. And then
they go.
If they get the intelligence on where it is.
Okay, now what? And Sammy would probably at that point flip back and vote with. That would be my guess. He would flip back into that.
He would call an audible in tribal council.
And go, oh no, I'm not.
I'm getting back on the winning side.
And I'll just tell him, no, you were wrong. I wasn't going to do that. I'm with you all the way.
Yeah, it really depends on can they hide the steal a vote then. Wow, that sets up a really exciting, a potentially exciting sequence of events.
Yes.
Yeah, for the next episode. All right. I'm even more stoked for the next episode than I was before we started the listener feedback show.
You just needed me, baby.
That's right. And I'm going to call that a success. Excellent. Thanks to everyone who took time to share your thoughts and predictions with us today. We enjoyed it, appreciate it, and look at all these new things that we're thinking of because of that. And we want to say a big thanks to Erica, Christy, and Hazel for your continued subscription donations. Thank you so much. That helps us with our operational cost. We greatly appreciate that ongoing support.
And if you play in JSFL, don't forget to make your Week 8 picks for 1 person voted off and 4 people who are safe.
I'll do my pitch again for coming and being part of the listener feedback show. If you want to join us on the next one, you can call and leave a voicemail, 206-350-1547, toll free 844-643-8737. You can record an audio comment and attach it, or just type up a quick text message and send it to us via email at joanneandstacyshow@gmail.com. Feedback's due noon Pacific time on Saturdays, and we ask that you keep it in that 3-minute range. Also want to say a super big thanks to everybody who participated in the feedback show. You guys it was almost all in early.
Oh, yeah.
And so we were able to get things prepped, and that was a big help. So thanks for doing that. Thanks for being considerate of the limits and all that. So I was able to get all those audios whipped together really quick, and we had a few written ones that we were able to get set up, and so good job everyone on that again.
They, I think, have to have a double elimination sometime soon.
Mm-hmm.
So it's looking like it's not next week, but pay attention to the next on, because I'm thinking it might be the week after. What do you think? It's got to be in the next.
That's the right time frame when they'll be.
Yeah.
They can divide up into 2 teams of 5.
Oh, yeah, you said 10.
Well, that's what they've done in the past. I think they've divided at a certain point where they could have 2 or 3 equal numbered groups, and then they go to separate tribal councils, and they each vote someone out.
Yeah,
and so that's how
that would do it.
That's how they've gotten the double.
They have to do that, because otherwise we go into the finale with 6.
Which could happen.
On December 14th is the finale.
Right.
For anybody who did not know that.
Yep, that could happen. But yeah, I think you're right. Maybe not this time, but the next time. They're trying to do some things different, obviously, this season, but I suspect they'll take the path of least resistance on that one.
Jeff did talk about they plan to leave this merge format going forward. Leave it the same.
Yeah, use it the way it was this time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no hourglass. Yay. I'm stoked. Looking forward to this next episode.
All right. Well, we'll hopefully both be back here on Wednesday with the next recap.
Have a good one.